Welcome to the Two Beasts podcast, where best friends Chris and Ollie try and figure out this complicated thing we call life. We hope you enjoy.
Right, we're fucking live, we're live. That's it.
We're live.
No, that's it.
We're live.
No more messing about. Get Evian off there.
Don't say the name.
We're not sponsored by
Don't
Evian.
fucking say the name.
Evian has not paid for our 30 listeners, mate. Mate, get it off the bottle now. He's done it all phallic natured. Horrible.
That looked like I was doing something dirty.
Horrible
everyone.
start to the pod.
Anyway, get that out of the picture because they don't pay us anything yet.
No, pay us nothing.
So currently,
mate.
it's just water. Right.
It's just unnamed water. I
apologise. That was a terrible start to this podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Two Beasts podcast.
Yeah,
I said it this time.
You did.
I don't get to say that often. It's normally your line. But I
sort of felt like I interrupted you the entire time though, because I started trying to launch straight into something. So why don't you do it again? But this time I'll just shut the fuck up.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Two Beasts podcast with one beast, almost a beast, and the other almost a beast over there.
Almost. We're getting
This
there.
has been a while.
We haven't done
one in fucking ages. We've had so many in the tank that this is just, it feels a bit weird, I'll be honest.
Yeah, because we were doing it like every week, weren't we? And then we started doing the guest ones, which were additionals, and so we ended up with like 4 or 5 backlog, and it's like, just let them burn.
They took some time. Took some time. Yeah, they were good though. They've had some really good feedback on them. So,
mate, it literally is the best part about this. We get to speak to all these great people and like learn from them and stuff like that. But it is a fucking pain in the ass.
It is a pain in the ass. Yeah, it's a massive pain in the ass.
We started this off. We were like, yeah. So what we'll do is we'll do 3 guest episodes a month, and then we'll just do one of ours at the end. And we did that like twice, I think, didn't we? And then I was like, yeah, you know what? I think we should do one guest, one of us, just like half the number of guests. I mean, we drove to Leeds, we drove to Worcester.
We didn't drive to Leeds, but this...
Liverpool, sorry. I was going to say Liverpool next, but anyway. Fucking confused.
That geography GCSE's gone a long way.
Fucking course it did, yeah. That's about the worth of a geography GCSE anyway. Yeah, so it's like, it was fun, and the conversations were well worth it. But like, now that we don't really, like, I just don't know, man. Doing that every fucking week.
It's a lot.
It's a pain in the ass, mate.
Yeah, and trying to slot it in around all, your work and my work, and also them as well, like trying to make sure that they are free on that day.
It basically meant we were getting up at 3 a.m. to go for a 6-hour round trip for an hour.
Savage, yeah.
Yeah, so now we've basically changed our philosophy again to just... We're just going to do our fucking episodes.
For the meantime. We'll do that for the meantime.
When somebody comes along that, like, we've asked a couple people now, we've put it out there to them, we want them on, but I'm not going to be, like, researching, chasing, like, putting graft in on, getting people on. Like, if people want to come on, then come on. If they don't, then fuck them.
I also feel like I want to establish this as our podcast and not feeling like it's solely based on the guests we have.
Yeah.
Because then I feel, all you're doing essentially then is making it so that your podcast is just centered around guests. And if you don't have guests on every week, like unless you're quote somebody and people want to come on your podcast, that's a bit different because then you have that ability to be able to get guests on. But I want to build this podcast so that as the 2 hosts, people get to know us and they get to know us from a point of view of all these like self-improvement sides of things and all the things we want to talk about rather than it just focusing solely on the guests. It's
definitely a more sustainable way to build a podcast if it's asked. And the other thing is, who are we to get guests? Like, we're still shit at podcasting. Yeah. Like, we still need to get better. And the best way to do that...
Yeah, and we've said it before about how, like, the guests are literally just people doing us favours, essentially.
Yeah, and I don't like that as well. I don't like how it's like, oh, can you do me some charity, mate? Like, I actually want to build something that they're asking us to come on because it's such a sick opportunity.
Yeah.
And the people that have come on so far have been very, very fucking good to us for doing it. But blessed. Don't really want to build an entire life out of charity work, to be honest, like getting charity work.
No, if that was the case, I'd go and work for Oxfam.
Well, it's sort of the other way around, isn't it? Because they're giving you charity. Like,
oh yeah,
you'd be sponsored by Oxfam. You'd be given stuff by Oxfam.
Whatever way.
But
whatever way. This is our thing.
Yeah. Well, I got you.
Well, we like the guests. The guests have been amazing. We're blessed to have them on.
Absolutely. But
super blessed.
At the same time, like, we're just going to fucking do us for a bit. Watch now the next 3 fucking episodes be guests.
Oh, big guests. Oh, I thought you meant just bomb. Right, no.
Watch that happen now. We're fucking just, literally, everything we say with guests, just it ends up fucking completely reversing. So, the journey to 100 episodes, remember, this is why we're doing this podcast. We've mentioned it before. We're here to do 100 episodes, see what happens. Do you want to know what's happened so far? Episode 14 is being released today. We've done 13 episodes so far. We're on episode 13. So far, we've reached about 300,000 people. We've gained about 500 followers across all social platforms. Some of them might be the same across multiple platforms, but to be honest with you, I don't think that's actually the case in many instances. Especially TikTok. Like, TikTok following is completely separate from Instagram, YouTube. One of my favourite authors has spoke to us as a result of something when we mentioned him on a podcast.
Yeah.
Harvey rides bikes. He's the famous motorcyclist in London. He left a comment on our post this week, and Steve-O left a comment on our post this week.
Blessed,
mate.
That was what a thing to wake up to this morning. I woke up and I rolled over and classically, like, first thing, check your phone, and I honestly just sat there and went, huh?
Steve-O,
It's a
mate.
bit like, it's kind of the same thing as what we had with Ryan Daniel Moran, what with you had, when it was like, is that Steve-O? And then lo and behold,
it is so weird. I mean, there's part of me that, like, I don't know if Steve-O's a massive guy, so like maybe it's someone that's like in charge of his socials or whatever, but it's still fucking cool.
I feel like he's one of those people that is in charge of his own socials, though.
I'd like to think so.
He might have one person that does the occasional bit when he's not, but I feel like the majority of stuff that gets posted is from him.
We literally have no idea, but
yeah, it's hard to tell. But I'd like to think that is the case.
Yeah.
I think some people definitely do have social media managers or whatever you want to call them.
I think most
of them probably do at this point.
I
feel like I feel like there is a few of them that still the majority is them.
Equally though, the thing is, social media now is such a massive part of what people's fame is, that if you gave that control away to an agency, you'd almost be selling your soul to a certain degree, wouldn't you? Like, if I was one of these social media, or if I was one of these celebrities, social media is the future. So to have someone say, we're going to be in charge now, you're contractually obliged for us to manage your social media, I'd be like, nah, not happy with that.
Well, it also gives them the power to be able to control whatever you post on your socials, depending on what they want to portray as a business, right?
I don't like that.
So, like, if they've got, and they will, have their own agenda, then they're going to be like, oh, we're going to post this today, and you're just going to have to be like, all right, because I'm under contract for you to do my socials, you know, so.
We were actually talking about this, because, you know, one day we might, we're going to stick at this for a long time. Obviously, like, we're in this for like a decade. We're doing 100 episodes as our first goal, but we're just doing this forever, like, regardless of whether or not it actually goes anywhere. We are going to be here doing pods.
We'll be old and grey.
And we were talking about, there was a big scam recently that was uncovered in the podcast industry that CoffeeZilla did an excellent video on, like, basically took on as a case. And this guy was enticing these big celebrity podcasts on with these really great terms, and basically saying that they'd be guaranteed 12 months worth of pay and all this kind of stuff, and giving them great splits, and that classic kind of fucking thing that happened to Ice Cube back in the day, you know, what happened across the whole music industry, happened across YouTube for a while. Hey, we're going to source your deals, and then we get a cut and you get the rest of it. Basically just a management company.
Yeah.
But they completely fucked everyone over, and like, they were behind on payments, like 1 month, then 2 months, then 3 months. And it basically ended up, they owed like millions, at least £4 million or dollars to all these different platforms. And now they're in the shit. Same guy that owned that company, that, you know, the company where 4 million went missing, bought a 1.7 million house the same year, but put it under a trust fund. So,
you know when people have these ideas?
Yeah.
And they think, I can get away with doing that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Mate, but
it's
the thing
pretty
is,
obvious. If you're going to do something like that.
At the minute, here's the fucked up thing about that. At the minute, he is getting away with it.
Still?
Like,
He's not been found out?
He's been exposed.
But people I guess people
the legal game is the legal game.
And I guess people are still under contract, so they can't do shit with him, I guess.
Well, it's not just that, but like, you're now having to take this guy to court, and court proceedings take a long fucking time. Like, I owed money from last year, like $2,000, and it's just in the ether somewhere. Maybe I'll get paid, maybe I won't. Who knows? It just is the game.
Yeah, it's a lot of bullshit in it, really.
Yeah, it sucks ass, man. Absolutely sucks ass.
But anyway, from that point, we want to try and be as independent as we possibly can and make those decisions ourselves, I feel like, because then that keeps the majority of power in our court, so that we don't have to give that away just for the sake of getting it. Because that's the other thing with, like, especially with the podcast being your own, and then having again, like we just talked about, with like agencies and management companies, they're gonna get those deals that they think are gonna be what's best for you, but they don't really know because they're not you. So, and if you can keep that in your power, you can then make those decisions yourself. And like I talk about with like a lot of UFC fighters, and one in particular, Chris and Ollie, he's his own manager. He does all the management, all the dealings, all the contract dealings himself. Therefore, he doesn't have to give a cut to a manager. He doesn't have to like make sure that person's got his best interests at heart. He just does it all himself, which not only is a good thing from a point of view that you keep everything in your court, but also you get to learn the ways. You know what I mean? Like, you get to learn how those business like communications and contract dealings and all that stuff take place, which I feel like you miss out on if you just go, somebody else can do it. That's
what I was thinking too. Like, when I was talking to you about like, what if we ever hit that scenario, I said I feel like we should just employ one person, and then give them a cut, and like then the money comes into our company first rather than we get paid later. Kind of thing,
we have to wait for it.
But I had the similar thought where like, if you do it as independently as possible, obviously I'm down to hire like skillful people that are better than us to help, but then we can actually learn how it works, and then there's always the opportunity of launching a business of your own that is actually ethical.
Correct. Yeah.
If you could actually do it better, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that game. I'll tell you the other thing I was messing around with recently. You may have noticed if you follow the TikTok or Instagram shorts, that there's been some AI content I've added in recently.
There's a big old snake on one of them the other day.
Huge snake, an absolute cobra.
Huge snake.
Yeah. So what I thought would be fun, right, is imagine this is a short right now, rather than like this is podcast listeners. You get to enjoy this, but you can always pop over to TikTok and Instagram to see the results of this. But I thought, let's just test AI out right now as shorts. So you give me a prompt. Obviously, it can't be anything like rude because it is a public. All prompts get posted in front of all like million users that use.
Roger that. Yeah.
The platform.
Yeah.
But if you give me a prompt now, I'll put that prompt into Midjourney and then we'll place it right here and see what it comes up with.
Okay.
That sounds like fun. Let's do 3 rounds of it.
Okay.
All right, so
you go first because I'm a little bit confused as to what you mean. You probably
okay. So like, I'll give you an example one, but then you play the game.
Okay.
So the prompt I would put in a bit like ChatGPT.
Yeah.
You put the prompt in and then it gives you an answer.
Yeah.
Except it's going to generate you an image.
Okay.
So like I might say, poorly elephant gets his doctorate degree.
That's a pretty funny image. It's generated in my mind already.
Mate, who knows? But it's right on screen right now for everyone to look at.
Okay.
So like based on that, it's not rude. There's no cocks and balls. It's good, clean family fun, mate. Can
this podcast isn't on Pornhub, so we can't do that.
All right, go on, round 1.
Okay, round 1. I'm gonna say skinny weightlifter benches 200 kilos.
What inspired you to go for that one?
Well, I was just trying to think about funny images in my head. And I thought someone with like the skinniest of twiglet arms and just fucking like 4 plates or like 5 plates or whatever it is on either side. Fucking being, and having this sort of wincy, really hot, like sweat everywhere.
Yeah.
No, I mean that kind of face.
We'll see what the image comes up with.
Generates, because that'd be funny.
All right. Let's do one more. Okay, this one. We've done one of mine. We've done one of yours. This time, you start the first half, and then I'll complete it.
Okay. Middle-aged runner.
It's so hard not to say shits himself on marathon.
I'd almost say do it. It'd be funny.
Nah. All right, middle-aged runner. Middle-aged runner gets attacked by a swarm of chipmunks.
Nice.
That's what I'm going for.
Nice.
There's the image now. That's what that's generated on AI. That's the power of technology.
Gets
ladies and
attacked by chipmunks.
That is mental, isn't it?
You first now then.
Oh, we'll do one more, shall we? All right, one more.
Well, you start one and I'll finish it.
Yeah. All right. Oh, mate, this is. All right. All right, I'll just keep it simple. A hungry dog.
A hungry dog. I want to say something. It's going to be a funny image.
Go on, say it.
A hungry dog lusts over another dog.
Oh no, it's going to be a dog shagging on Mid-Journey, mate. I'm going to get banned. No chance.
Maybe not that. So a hungry dog stares down a penguin.
Nice.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Right, so for the podcast listeners, if you want to see,
no idea what's going on.
if you want to see what those images generated, to remind you, what we just did there was gave prompts to Mid-Journey, and we're just going to put like that basically into Mid-Journey and see what it comes up with. I'll pick the best one because it gives you like 4. I'll pick the best one of each of those prompts, and they'll be on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. So go and follow us on those social media platforms. That was a good little segue, wasn't it?
Nice, I like that.
Yeah,
it was a good little segment.
Nice, I like that. We could do one of those every week.
One each every week.
Yeah, that'd be
we
funny,
do 2 a week. That sounds good.
That'd be good.
I like that.
Go on then. What do you want to talk about?
So I guess one thing that we've done in the past, however long it's been since we filmed our last one.
It was my birthday that we did the thing I think you're going to talk about.
Yeah, 48-hour fast we did, didn't we?
Yeah, we had a go at it.
We had a go. You've done one already before. That was my first one.
Yeah.
I've done bits and pieces of intermittent fasting over the past few years.
Mate, I'm not going to lie to you. I had completely no faith that you would finish it.
So I've been told.
Did Emma tell you? Yeah. So we agreed to do it, and then he went upstairs, and his missus was here, and I was like, I don't think he's going to do it. I was like, do you reckon he's going to do it? And she was like, well, you know, I think, yeah, why not? And I was like, I don't know. I reckon fucking 25 hours in.
He counted me out at the
25
start.
hours in. I mean, you did struggle on the 4 mile the next day, but also you did a 6 miler the day before. So you actually did the 48-hour fast, but you also did 10 miles of running in that time as well.
Correct, yeah, and I probably burnt about 1,500 to 1,600 calories or something.
Yeah, which is
when I wasn't taking in anything, so that's good.
I don't know. Your size is probably close to 1,000, but it's still a lot when you've got 0.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. The 4 mile run in the Sunday morning was we did it from Saturday. I started at like 9. You started like 10 or something, was it?
Yeah, it was pretty close. We weren't in the same.
Yeah, we weren't the same. But it was Saturday morning, essentially until Monday morning. Now Saturday at about 12, I ran my 6 miler, and then we had Sunday morning we did a 4 miler in the gym on a treadmill, and that was pretty savage. But as I said to you, I don't think it had anything to do with the fast, weirdly. Because I've done the exact... What happened was basically I started way too fast.
Yeah,
I tried
true.
to keep a pace up that I couldn't handle for 4 miles. Mostly started trying to keep up with you. And I think maybe the fast did have something to do with it, or maybe just from running the previous day, I don't know. Anyway, I basically started too fast. Heart rate was up at like 170 or something stupid. Basically, I tell you when the same thing happened is when we first did math.
Yeah, the 5K thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was exactly the same situation.
Thing. So I just started off way too fast. My pace was fucked. And I basically had to stop, let my heart rate come down, and then jump back on the treadmill at a lower pace. I finished the 4 mile, but I just did it at a lower pace to keep my heart rate down. So
just clawed it through.
But in terms of the actual fast, we said this on the Sunday night. It's not that I felt like I needed to eat. It's that I wanted to eat.
Yeah.
It was a proper weird feeling. You know, there wasn't that whole thing of... it was more like I was bored, so I just wanted to eat. Which, when you think about it, is kind of a little bit stupid.
Mate, first of all, can I just say, I know there's people with eating disorders out there. If you have, just fucking eat enough food, right?
Oh,
don't do this.
True.
Consult your doctor first, all the rest of it. We did this as an experiment. We are trained professionals in the world of fucking stupid things, right? So this is why we did it. That said, as someone who is usually a very healthy eater that eats a lot of calories, I really fucking enjoy the detox.
Yeah, I think from a detox point of view, like just to flush your system out, it's a good thing. And I feel like maybe, I don't know whether the 48-hour thing is good. I know people do it for like a week, don't they? That's sort of ridiculous, don't they? But, and there's loads of different theories behind it and all that sort of thing. But I feel like even just doing regular intermittent fasting just to give your body like a bit of a break from digesting constantly, like I feel like that's where a lot of our gut problems come as human beings, and gut health and gut shit. And again, I'm not an expert, but that's just what I feel like is the case in terms of that. Like supposedly your gut is linked to a lot of things in your body in terms of like your health and your mood and your all of this sort of stuff. So if you can like regulate that and control that, I feel like that's only a benefit.
I also heard about Ross Cook, the guy that's currently running the length of Africa. He did a buried alive challenge where he stayed in a box for 7 days with nothing but water.
Unreal.
And he was saying that on the podcast that he did with Jack, mate, that after like 4 or 5 days fasting, you don't actually need that much sleep either because your body's so like wired up on adrenaline. Because that's basically what it is, isn't it? Like you get... When people haven't fasted before, when they get hungry, they feel like they're tired, lethargic, they can't be asked to do stuff. That is just basically like physical withdrawals from the addiction of food, kind of, I think, is my theory. Because, like you said about habits, it's not that you needed to eat, it's that you wanted to eat. I can tell that that's true because I never really eat breakfast normally anyway, right? I think breakfast is the biggest fucking bullshit thing ever.
I only tend to eat breakfast on my work days.
Yeah, like...
to get the calories in.
No, you know what? I eat breakfast if I'm feeling lazy and I just feel like I want to eat food.
Yeah.
And I'm not... I don't care about stuff. I don't plan diet properly. Like, I just eat what I feel like when I feel like it for the most part. But, yeah, so when I'm not used to having breakfast... But I am used to having my first meal at around 1 o'clock after I come back from the gym. And then I'm also used to having food just before I go to sleep. I know they say you shouldn't do it, but actually I think if I carb load to fuck, like at 8 p.m, then when that drowsiness comes, I can just get to bed and like go to sleep straight away. I've never really had any negative effect of eating loads before I go. I think that's another bullshit myth.
Yeah.
When I was doing the fast, funnily enough, like from 1 p.m. to the night time, really could do with some food, yeah. And then when I woke up, not hungry.
Yeah, so like 6 o'clock in the evening was probably the worst part because that's naturally, like between sort of 6 and 7, I was like, damn, I could do with some food. But also it's weird, and I know people talk about it who intermittent fast quite a lot, and I have it, and we've talked about it in terms of that feeling that you get when your body is in that state. Makes you very like alert, and it makes you very hyper focused. Because I remember on the Sunday night, I got loads of stuff. I was like cleaning the house, I cleaned my bedroom. I was then doing stuff on the computer, and I felt like super zoned in, which was quite weird. Whereas I think if you just eat constantly, you're having that like, a lot of that sort of just cloudiness of your mind. You can just feel that sort of mental cloudiness that comes with it. Especially if you eat a lot of carbs and you're not burning those carbs off, like if you have it's a bit different if you've got a pretty active lifestyle, like you're doing workouts or some sort of heavy duty job every single day, bit different. But if you're not and you're eating a lot of carbs, that's where you get sort of like the brain fog and that.
Mate, the biggest problem I have, because I work from home when I'm not on shoots, like I'm not on the desk there editing on the computer, it's really hard to edit when tired. Like, I know it's just an absolute weasel statement, but I just find it really fucking hard to concentrate when I'm tired. Like, when you're out physical on a job and you're tired, if you get up, you get moving, you just get after it, it goes away. When you actually have to just use your brain and you're sat in a warm house, comfortable in a chair, it is like fucking so hard. And every time I come back from the gym, like, I'll have my food and I obviously have carbs with it. And then I just like fucking nap.
Yeah, all you just want to do is nap, right?
1 to 3, like the amount of times between 1 to 3 p.m. I've spent on the sofa just like asleep.
Yeah.
Because I just fucking can't handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate. Carbs are the enemy. Carbs are the true enemy.
Well, carbs are great, I think, if you use A, the correct ones, and B, have them at the correct time.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if you, and again, you kind of have to use them in a way that that works for whatever your lifestyle is. You know, if you're not actually massively active, then I feel like carbs are slightly, not pointless, but you can get away with not eating as much. Whereas if you're super active, i.e. us two, in particularly for myself, because of the nature of my job and the stuff I do, it's like constantly on the go. I don't think there's anything else you can get a lot of like calories from. I think that's
you
the thing,
also have
burning the
fuck all
calories.
fat on you as well. Like your body fat percentage is, I mean, mine's actually fairly high for, I'm probably like 13 to 15% body fat. I don't think you're that much.
No.
I think you're more like 10, 11.
I think I'm around 10. Yeah, I'd be shocked if I was anywhere higher than that. But
And I don't know for sure, but I feel like your body would need quite a hard fucking kicking before it decides to delve into any of that body fat. That's an absolute armchair science fucking statement.
Armchair quarterback.
I do think that.
I mean, who knows? But that is the slight worry with doing fasting in some regard when you're as thin as. Not as thin as I am, because I'm not exactly thin, but when you have a lot less fat on you, your body then doesn't have anything to use, you know.
I don't think so, because you didn't lose weight in that 48-hour fast.
That was the weirdest thing. I mean, I didn't weigh myself, which is annoying because I think our scales didn't have any battery or whatever, but I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, I don't look any different.
Yeah, but mate, I've also done that fast in that time and I've gained 10 pounds since whenever the last time I weighed in.
Yeah, it's weird.
So like, I don't think 48 hours, I don't think is long enough. I mean, look, you would never tell someone on a weight loss journey, hey, you can fix yourself in 48 hours, just don't eat and you'll be good. Like that just wouldn't have an impact, would it? Like your body is prepared for short, sharp shocks like that.
Yeah.
And it just functions. It pumps the adrenaline into your body, which is why you have that alertness. It's just higher levels of adrenaline generally in the blood, which
Probably
is
suppresses
nice.
your appetite as well, right?
The thing it suppresses your appetite, I guess. I don't know actually. Don't know if it does. But I know what does suppress your appetite. Fucking black coffee, baby.
Coffee does, yeah. We did have coffee, bearing in mind.
I don't care if that disqualifies the fast. Fuck you. I don't care. It's my fast. I'll do what I want. It was my birthday. But
Imagine everyone, right? So everyone out there, that's the other thing to add to this equation, is that not only did we do this as a 48-hour fast, we also did it on his birthday, right? There's not many fucking people out there that would be like, you know what, on my birthday this year, I would like to starve for 48 hours.
I said to him, I was like, do you know what I want for my birthday this year? He's like, what? I said, can you join me on a 48-hour fast because I want to see how you act? And he was like, yeah, right.
I've always wanted to try it. Like, I've always been like, because like I said, I've done intermittent fasting for quite a while. And I was like, well, fuck it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's one of those things where it's like, well, what's the worst that can happen? If you feel really bad, you just eat something. Sure.
Yeah, and I feel like 48 hours is a pretty short amount of time. I know that if you go on 3-day, 4-day fasts, I've heard some things about that's when this is like the boogeyman of all weightlifters, isn't it? This is always chucked about, but that's when you start going, what's the word when the muscles start eating themselves? Anabolic? Not anabolic. Catabolic, yeah. Like you start hearing those words come around and all that, and you start losing strength at that point. I'm like, oh no, my bench. So I'll fucking leave that alone, mate. But 48 hours I'm happy with.
Yeah.
I might do like a 7-day one day just to fucking see what happens, but by that point, like, I don't know. I'll have to be benching at least 210 before I fucking.
Just in case anything dropped.
If I drop, then at least I'm still. Yeah, mate.
I like that. I like how you have to put that buffer in before you do anything. You're like, right, I need to. That's like me being like, right, I need to fucking be able to climb at least 8C before I can I can fast. Yeah,
mate, you have to have that buffer in.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. What's up, winners? If you're loving this podcast, make sure to drop us a 5-star review on Spotify. And if you aren't already, be sure to follow us on our social media channels. That's YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. 2Beast Podcast, the number 2 Beast Podcast. Let's get back to the show. We're all back in. We're back in. The level of professionalism in that changeover was unreal.
Fucking completely fucked up, boys and girls. Yeah. Absolutely made an ass of it.
That's the kind of professionalism you can expect at your wedding day.
No, don't say that. I'm actually good at my job when I actually am doing my job. Good. It's just, this is like our stuff, innit? So I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, we're a bit less on it.
Well, it's nice to relax on a Sunday and not really give a shit.
That is true.
If the camera goes down,
doesn't
whatever, mate. Yeah. What are you going to do? Sack me?
Quote, do what we want.
I do what I want.
Yeah.
And speaking of doing what I want, I did have the terrible shits after the old 48-hour fast.
You did, yeah. Yeah.
How did you break your fast?
I broke my fast with a massive bowl of granola
Granola, that's how you do it?
Yeah, my breakfast at work. Do you know what? And this is another thing I said, right? When I sat there and ate it, I felt the most grateful I've ever felt for a meal.
Yeah, mate.
I was like, all it was a bowl of granola that I've had every day for the past probably not every day, but like, you know, it's been my breakfast for like the past God knows how many years. I just felt so grateful and had so much gratitude for this. And bearing in mind, it wasn't a bowl, it was in a fucking old ice cream tub, right? So it was pretty ghetto. I had the granola in it and I just felt so fucking grateful and like, oh, blessed, I can actually eat things.
You know, that is the exact, and I said this to you before we did it, because from my first experience, I remember the same thing. I actually had, on my first 48-hour fast, I had like a fucking half-eaten chocolate bar in the fridge, and like I had a mixed up pre-workout that I forgot that had calories in it, so I like made it up, and I was like, oh fuck, actually I'm on a fast, so I just put it in the fridge for later, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I had all these like beautiful, sweet, delicious treats, and I had the whole world again, and I was like, not once was I frustrated by that fact when I was doing the fast. I was literally just grateful that once the 48 hours ticked over, I could immediately go and get that food, or I could immediately go down to Morrison's and just get whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
It was 100% a gratitude exercise, not anything else.
I think that's the thing. I think the fact that food is so readily available now, like it's ridiculously easy to grab. That whole sense of like being grateful for it, especially in the Western first world,
Mate,
it's kind of gone out the window, really.
It was such a disaster. Like, it was such a horribly gone wrong science experiment sometimes, aren't we? Because like, our bodies are designed for food to be scarce, for it to be hard to get, like us to have to fucking fight for it, go hunting for it. And then you just see what happens when you just have rampant abundance. And there's all these people with fucking chronic health conditions, all these people struggling with weight issues, all these people whose bodies are literally crumbling under their own fucking weight because there's too much mass that they're walking around, knee pain, back pain, fucking this pain, the other pain. Like, fucking hell, you just see the fucking condition that some people are in from supposed, like, perfection, from supposed
ease
peace.
Of life.
Yeah. Oh, we're in such an easy, lovely condition in the world, except you got pretty much every fucking chronic condition under the sun because you eat too much, you motherfucker. Like, mate.
Scales, isn't it?
It's hard, isn't it? Like, I feel like that sometimes. I feel like we are literally just, this is a very fucking horrifying experiment.
Yeah.
And you know exactly who I'm thinking of, like not a specific individual, but you can imagine the person I'm thinking of in my head.
Yeah, totally.
When like I say, this is a fucking walking disaster.
Yeah.
No one wants to say it out loud because they don't want to get cancelled.
But yeah, that is the problem with today's day and age, and we've talked about it before, you know, about how it's just very easy. It's very easy to do those things, you know. I
just wish like people knew who don't train how much fucking better life is when you train. Like, it doesn't have to be training like gym, doesn't have to be training like how we train.
Or just living a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, just doing stuff just being healthy. Yeah, exactly.
It's literally the bottom line of it. It's just being healthy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think the problem is that most people don't think about it until they get into old age and they go, oh shit. If, you know, it's really hard for people to like, to see that in the future and to be like, okay, and not even in the future, like just even now. You know, like feeling how you feel now is a healthy. But again, you can't make anyone. I think sit here in this podcast for the next fucking 20 years and tell people how they should be living and how much better it is to train and how you should be healthy and all that.
Also,
but nobody's going to listen.
We also don't know that is the best way to live.
No, that's
it's just a suspicion.
Totally, and it's just what we experience because that's what we do. Yeah. Someone who's, you know, sits on the couch and plays PlayStation and eats a load of food, junk food all the time, probably thinks that they're living their best life. And that's like, hey man, that's fine. If that's what you want to do, carry on.
There probably is people out there that do that and that actually are genuinely happy and good for them.
Yeah. Carry on, man.
I also think that there's a lot of people that are like depressed and they're about to jump on antidepressants. But I know these people like IRL that are like sad, down. They're about to jump on some kind of tablet to help fix that. But they've just exited a relationship in which they lied to the other person, was like cheating on people or whatever for the last fucking 5-10 years, and they're in an absolute mess of lies. They go to sleep at fucking 3 a.m. They don't train and they eat absolute wank. And like they're overweight and that.
I mean, it's all things that point to one thing.
But nah, it's a chemical imbalance. It's just how you were born, so you got to get on some fucking pill. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me at all.
No.
Like, at least, all I'm saying is, like, if it is the case where you actually are depressed and you need to go on medication, fine. But, like, I would just at least, surely, you would at least try fixing those other things first. I get that sometimes you're so far deep in the shit that it's like hard to fix instantly.
Yeah,
That's part of it, innit? Like when I've been down, it's not because I don't know what's making me sad. It's that what is making me sad can't be fixed instantly, and I've got to fucking like give it 6, 10, 12 months, or I don't even know it's fixable, and I've got to try and fumble through and figure it out. So it's not. I'm not gonna fucking sit here and be like judging people for it, but
no, not at all, because that's just adding to the problem, right? Like judging people for doing what they do is just making it worse, because then they get even more defensive and feel like that's how they should be, and it's an evil cycle that gets into a point where they just, that's all they want to do, because they feel like they're just having people hammering, be healthy, be this, go for a run, go to the gym, and it's like, that is good, and that's what you quote should be doing in terms of like, making sure that your body's healthy and living a healthy, balanced life and all that stuff. But at the same time, if you don't want to do it, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you have to. I'm just trying to give helpful stuff to people that do want it, and don't want to go and jump on a pill and think that that's going to make everything better.
Mate, if you are suspicious that health and fitness is the way to go, or actually like finding ways to solve problems besides taking some sort of medical aid is the way to go, then we are the podcast for you.
I'd like to think so.
You're in good company here.
Yeah.
And if you are one of those people that, like, inevitably the people that see this short are going to be, that is like someone that uses medication and believes in medication. It's not to be anti-medication or anti-science. I just don't think it's the first option.
It shouldn't be the first option, because I think a lot of things are curable via natural, simple things, i.e. regular exercise, correct diet, like, I don't know, meditation in the morning or cold shower, all of these things that we already know. There's so much information about there that's like, that should be the first thing that people jump to, not a medical pill.
The other thing about that though, here's the other thing, and Dad brought this up, we were talking about this the other day, and he's got this kind of, unfortunately, this point makes for a bit of a shit podcast, so like that's why we don't really talk about it that much, but it is ultimately true. Because we were talking about our conversation the other day about like, what being a man is and all the rest of it. Like, he's basically saying there's a whole lot of like podcasts and fucking like discussions and motivational people now talking about, the deep thinking of how to be a man, and not actually that much just being a fucking man, just getting on with it. And there is a big part of it that's like, yes, you can have, I thought about it when you said about meditation in the mornings. I'm like, yes, there's a place for all that stuff. But like Dad was saying, if you sit there in the morning, your morning routine is fucking an hour of journaling. You haven't done fuck all. You've sat there and written a book for an hour. Mate, instead of writing about your problems, why don't you just go out and try and start fucking making work on solving them?
Well, I think the only thing with that, and again, I think like an hour of journaling, that's a bit excessive. Like, I don't know how much you've got to write down, but it shouldn't be taking you an hour. If you have got that much, you probably want to seek like...
You're in big trouble.
Yeah, you probably want to start seeking some other advice and stuff, but like, that I think is just a way of people getting it out of here and putting it onto paper so that they then can try and solve things, and that but I agree with exactly what you're saying. It's like, there's all very well and good talking about it and writing stuff down and doing, but you actually do need to go out and do it. There's the Chris Williams and short that I posted on my story the other day. That is like...
Thinking about the things, not doing the thing, or something like
totally,
that.
Totally, and it goes on for however long, but it's basically, all it comes back to, doing this and this is not doing the thing. Like, writing it down is not doing the thing. Talking about the thing is not doing the thing. Like, all of this sort of stuff comes back to doing the thing. It's the thing that you should do, but you find every little way of getting around it to not do the thing. Whatever the thing is, there's every conceivable possible way of not doing it, especially in today's day and age.
That's why I like Russ Cook so much, because they're like, mate, you've got this ankle injury or whatever, you've got this pain, that pain, how are you going to carry on running the length of Africa? He's just like, more tarmac.
Yeah, he
It's just one word, simple.
He just puts his head to the grindstone and gets on with it.
Just
Yeah.
You just got to get back on road.
There's something to be said for just being like, okay, I know what I need to do and just doing it, you know, like. But also, not just that, like, just do something.
Yeah.
Like, always doing something is always better than doing nothing.
Well, the other thing is, just take it out of your hands. Like, don't overthink it. Don't stress yourself out about it. When you were like, for example, when we did the 48-hour fast, to bring it back to that, because that is technically what we're supposed to be talking about today, and we're on one fucking tangent right now.
Yeah, true, bring it back.
But let's say the 48-hour fast, you know that you're capable of doing that 48-hour fast.
Yeah.
There was no doubts when you went into preparing for it that you couldn't do it. So now you're in it, and you've agreed that you're going to do it with yourself. Mate, it sounds simple now. Now you just got to fucking do it and not eat food. Go to bed if you want, if you're fucking angry, tired, if it completely crashes your energy levels and you've completely fucked up and it's miserable, just go to bed, you'll be all right. Like, it's a day by the time that happens, like, it's a big deal. But there is really, like, you set the goal, and if you can say, if you can be confident that you can complete that goal beforehand, there's no reason why halfway through when it gets hard, any mission should be different. There is no need to readapt.
But that's also where that's where the real improvement and that's where the real overcoming things comes into it. It's all very well and good getting into that position, but when it gets hard, that is where you learn and that's where you grow. Because if you don't get through that, well then you've quit and then you're back to square one. If you push through that, that's where learning and growth comes in.
But I think that's where the beauty of what my dad was saying the other day comes in, where it's just like there's a lot of talk.
Yeah.
But not actually much doing. It's like there is nothing really to talk about. Once you say I'm going to do a 48-hour fast,
you do it.
Once you're in the 48-hour fast, there really is not much to talk about. There's not. Oh, what if my? I mean, we fell into a chat of it like, I've got a bit of a headache. Oh, I wonder if my sugar levels are low. It's like, mate, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're not going to fucking die. So it's going to be shit. You have a headache. Fucking is what it is. Just fucking get on with it.
It's that thing of like not being honest with yourself, isn't it? It's like, because essentially if you quit, that's you lying to yourself. You said you were going to do something and you didn't do it. Therefore you've lied to yourself. You keep doing that and keep doing that over and over again. That's when you end up in the hole. So you've just got to be honest. And for people that find that hard to do, just do it with simple shit. Start off with, I think you said this on one of the podcasts. Maybe I've already posted the short about it. But basically it's just, I think it was actually to do with getting over fear. That's what it was. But keep it simple at first. So like if you find it really hard and you just lie to yourself, you find it hard to be honest with yourself, just say, okay, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to make my bed. Make your bed. You've been honest with yourself.
That's easy peasy.
You know? Little things on the way to the big thing. Don't solely focus on the big thing that you've got to do, which is like, I don't know, lose 20 pounds or run a marathon or whatever it is. Just be like, okay, what can I do first that's nice and easy to start off with so that I can build this honesty with myself? Okay, I can get up in the morning, I can make my bed. I can have, I don't know, some form of healthier breakfast rather than a really unhealthy breakfast. I can have a cold shower and do that for however long. And, you know, just like real simple things that you can do to start off with and just do them.
I think
Stuff that you find easy first.
One of the things I'm most grateful for is that I actually have faith in myself. And what I mean by that is if I said I'm going to do something, when it gets hard, I can trust that old me blindly. If me, fit and well, said it's doable, then me, battered and fucked, believes him.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from doing exactly what you just said. Just when you say you're going to do something, you've done it.
Yeah.
And you just build that little bit of trust in yourself each time.
Yeah.
If you were a fucking complete flake and every time you said something you didn't do it, then why is this challenge going to be any different? If every time you said, I'm going to achieve X today, and then you go ahead and not achieve X today, then you're just you have no reason to believe in yourself.
It's the Hormozy quote again, isn't it? Stacking the evidence,
proof,
man.
Yeah.
Stacking the evidence.
Yeah, I guess
Stack
so.
the evidence. Speaking of stacking the evidence and someone that is doing something that he said he was going to do and now he's doing it, or has technically done it, is Mr. Truett Haynes.
Oh, mate. Yeah, I think he has done it now, eh?
Mr. Truett Haynes, son of Cameron Haynes, has currently been attempting the pull-up world record in 24 hours, which I believe was held by an Aussie man at, 8,000 and something pull-ups in 24 hours?
He hasn't posted yet, but I reckon he's probably asleep. I know Cameron has.
So Cameron posted that he was over 8,000 and he was still going because he had time left.
Most pull-ups in 24 Hours History World, and Just True is still going. Yeah, mate, he did do it.
Yeah, so I believe that was somewhere around like the 17-hour mark or something, 18-hour mark. He'd done 8,000 pull-ups.
I think it was. Yeah, he just carried on, didn't he?
And he just carried on like a champ. Yeah, there's a
mate,
quality
I watched
video.
that live stream. I kept jumping on that live stream. It's fucking brilliant to watch. I'm going to do my own version of that next year. Not quite a world record, but I'm going to go for the 4,000 that Goggins did in 2013. 4,030. That'd be fucking sick.
Shout out to True Haynes for getting over 8,000 pull-ups.
Absolutely
in 24
fucking
hours.
humbled the bar.
Unreal. That's
and
an
the
unreal
fucking
amount of pull-ups.
sponges he used as well. Those fucking.
Oh, legit. But did you see that? Have you seen that video that Cameron Haynes posted? Because at that point, where he's at like 18 hours in, he's got what are basically like these massive fucking like snow mitts that are just like protecting his hands and that. Like.
Yeah, because I thought there was like Guinness World Records had stuff to say about that kind of stuff, but presumably it's all been cleared. I thought it all had to be consistent.
I guess if he's going for the actual world record, I would imagine so.
I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see if they clear it. But
yeah,
because he was using the sponges.
Apparently, all that shit is well expensive.
Yeah.
To get that world record stuff.
Yeah,
Russ Cook was talking about it on the Jam podcast. Yeah, something outrageous to get like because you have to have all of the people. They have like 2 or 3 people from Guinness Book of Records come out. And they bring all the shit and they make sure that everything's been done like correctly and officially and all that. Yeah, and it costs like 10 to 15 grand or something, whatever.
Fuck off.
Unreal that is.
Mate, literally, if you're doing a world record, you've got to think to yourself, I've done all the graft to get to the point where I can do a world record. You should be paying a fucking CME. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Just for a fucking certificate.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they want 10 to 15 grand for a bit of paper and to be in a book is like...
It's not going to last if they carry on like that, mate. The internet doesn't give a fuck about Guinness now. They're just like...
No, I think the Guinness Book of Records worked when there was no internet and you got the book. I used to get the book at Christmas.
It was cool to see
Guinness
the
Book of Records, But now it doesn't matter because the internet, you get it all the time, don't you? So.
Yeah, it's just like a cool thing to have, isn't it, I suppose?
But yeah, man, dude's a beast. He's clearly following in his dad's footsteps very much so,
I've been proper inspired by his pull-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I mean, I know he literally says, like, there is no point in doing this amount of pull-ups. But I don't care. I think it's fucking cool. Mate, I would love to be able to do 4,000 a day. He's doing sets of 10 for like 3 hours straight, mate. I'm not fucking doing that. Fucking, I'll take half of it. Half of it I'll be cool with for now, and then we'll see.
Yeah, the dude's a beast. I mean, as someone who is a rock climber and knows a little something about pull-ups, that is a seriously impressive amount of fucking...
I know, I gotta say, you know what I learned the other day, because I went climbing with you earlier in the week, you and your missus, fucking third wheel, didn't I? Because I just invited myself along. Fuck you, don't care. Chris is here.
We let him go and boulder on his own while we did ropes. It's quite funny.
And I thought, because I've been doing all these pull-ups, I was like, mate, my forearm strength now is pretty fucking... Because ultimately, when you're on bar doing even 1,000, like, you're holding onto the bar. That's grip strength as well. Yeah. And one of the places I feel it the most is actually in my forearms the next day. So I was like, yeah, man, I reckon I'm going to absolutely hammer climbing now. Well, 1, I am 10 pounds heavier, so that didn't really work out at all. And 2, it wasn't my forearm. My grip, normally, when I used to go climbing, grabbing onto stuff, like I'd feel it in my forearms, I couldn't really hold my grip anymore. My forearms this time, absolutely fucking banging. They were in peak condition. But my fingers were in fucking so much pain trying to hold all the weight off those tiny fucking joints. Yeah. So what I've realised now, and I'm hoping that you'll maybe even be able to provide some assistance on this as a fucking, because you are fucking mental at climbing. But
every 5 minutes, it was fucking every time I go on a climb. It's like, I've never seen you be so fucking like... I'm just so fucking positive in what I've been doing. Like, you were throwing it all around the place.
Mate, it was pissing. I was like, basically, you see this guy, right, and you tell him, go on, just pick whatever the hardest looking route is on the wall. And I was doing that so many times, like, do the pink, because the pink had these like tiny little fucking crimp holes. And he was like, I would, but that's like a 5C. And I was like, what do you mean? That's like apparently like a really easy climbing route. Yeah. And he was like, oh, I'll do it. And then he just fucking absolutely nails it. And I'm like, what the fuck? But my point is, I think, I noticed it in my fingers and also my toes as well. Like, that was where I really felt pain and where I couldn't keep climbing. Yeah. So what I started doing now is, instead of doing reverse curls, for example, I might try and find other ways to do it as well. I might start doing like 1 finger, 2 finger pull-ups, whatever. But instead of doing reverse curls, I grab a plate now. And I used to do reverse plate curls as well, but I'd like kind of cheat and hold it down here and just get the forearms. But I go proper on the top,
Yeah.
so that I don't really care. I go lighter so that the biceps is easy, but just holding up in plate is an absolute bastard, and it's such a small grip as well. So I'm hoping that just like little changes like that.
Well, that's essentially like crimp stuff. I mean, you're never going to be as good as like climbing or hanging off a fingerboard. The fingerboard's obviously the main way of building finger strength. But yeah, I mean, that is the one thing that I think people get confused with, is like how much is going through your feet and how much is going through like the very tips of your fingers.
Not even just feet, but like toes, like actual strength in those joints.
Yeah, man. Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? Like, you think about your fingers and your hands. I mean, they're very similar to what your feet are. And they're kind of like, you know, there's one guy in the climbing community who basically does a lot of his climbing barefoot, and you see how he's fucking holding on, and he's like a monkey. You know, he's like fucking crimping with his toes and shit. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But even like when you stand in climbing shoes, like it's always on like your big toe, right? Which is effectively like your thumb on your hand. So it's like you're standing on, so all of your weight is basically on that big toe. And obviously with you, where you've got, you know, me climbing like you would be like me climbing with a fucking, I don't even know what, 30-pound weight vest or something, or 40-pound weight vest or something ridiculous. So like on that one, maybe even more than that.
It would actually be, you're 130, right?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So you'd have a 60-pound weight vest on you.
That is unreal.
That's fucking stupid, isn't
mad.
it? You just wouldn't do it, would you? You'd
No,
be like,
it'd be
I'm not going climbing today.
Yeah, it'd be fucking well heavy. But naturally, that then puts an incredible. Well, there's a reason why climbers aren't particularly heavy, right? Is because it's just putting undue amounts of stress. And unnecessary weight through your fingers. You know, like.
Well, that's what I figured. Like, realistically, I don't have time to add climbing into all the other things I'm doing at the minute. So, like, I'm not going to be a regular climber again, but. At least for the foreseeable future. But I thought if I can at least add some stuff into the gym routines that is more finger strength based, that's going to be better than fuck all.
Yeah, and it's only going to help. It's not like it's like a negative thing to add in. You know, like there's nothing wrong with gaining some finger strength. If anything, it might help, like, you know, your pull-ups and your bench and everything you're doing with the bar, you know. So.
Well, that's the thing. I've been thinking this whole time, deadlifts is going to help, pull-ups is going to help. But it's forearm training for sure, but it's not finger strength.
No.
You're not holding a fucking any amount of deadlift weight off your fingertips. You're just not doing it.
No, it's completely different. So there's one type of training that I've started doing, a lot of people started doing recently, that's kind of like fingerboarding, but it like completely isolates the fingers, and it's essentially like a block of wood that's about yay big, and it's got like it's like maybe like 15mm edge, which is like probably the first row of your fingers, like the pads on your fingers, so sort of down to here. And you basically hold that, and then you hang like a load of weight off the bottom of it, and then you essentially deadlift, but you try and keep everything as straight as possible, and then rather than hanging off a fingerboard where your shoulders and stuff are involved, it really isolates the fingers. So it's quite good. Well, I use it a lot after setting, because where I've been using my shoulders and stuff for drilling and I'm pretty fucked, it's quite good to then just isolate your fingers. So even that's something that's quite worth doing. A mate of mine used to do, I don't know if he still does, but he got into, like there's actually competitions for like grip strength, and he was getting into doing something. And that was where he brought it in basically from that, and he would do like pinch stuff and crimp stuff, and yeah, there's loads of different. It's quite mad the amount of weight people can move.
I know you can't be good at everything, but it did humble me a little bit the other day. I was like, fucking hell, I cannot hold on to wall.
Yeah, but that's like me when I look at you and when you're sat on a fucking bench. It's the same feeling. Where I'm like,
maybe.
Fuck. I feel like I want to be able to lift that much, but then I'm like, it's not going to be helpful for what I want to do.
Yeah,
so,
you got to pick something.
You have got to pick and choose at some point.
Yeah, ultimately the bar is my mistress, and I must serve her.
You must.
Accordingly.
You must. She is Mother Bar.
We've got 5 minutes left of this pod, mate. Do you want to talk about anything? Oh, I was going to talk about the new segment.
Was that not?
No, that wasn't
the
it.
AI segment was not the.
No. New segment,
shit.
right? I was thinking.
Last 5, let's do it.
Because we're going to do more of our own podcast now.
Yeah.
What I want to do is have like a couple of bits of banter either side, and then like a main core topic. Like today was supposed to be the 40-hour fast. We kind of fucking went all over the place, didn't we?
I mean, it kind of was, but
we
in like a little bit of a tangent with some stuff. It's all
basically,
relevant.
Basically, what happened was we didn't eat 40 hours. We ate food after 48 hours. It was pretty bang bang.
Yeah. What a summary! Didn't he? Hey, bang, bang.
The new segment.
3 words.
The new segment, I was thinking, it kind of ties into what we were talking about back along where we were on about doing things like challenges for the podcast and then reviewing them.
Yeah.
But I thought, because it's self-improvement based, there's loads of like stupid habits that we would like to pick up, but we haven't. And like tiny little things we could make. So I thought each week from now on, we would agree on a promise of some kind between us. I was going to bring this up at the start so you had time to think of one. But like,
you're just going to throw me in at the deep end.
Just for the next 7 days,
okay.
we either do something every day for 7 days or cut something out for 7 days. At the end of those 7 days, we don't have to fucking do it anymore if we don't want to. But just for the next 7 days in the hope that it sparks something in us.
Okay.
I thought we might do a challenge and then hold each other accountable for it.
All right.
Do you have any ideas for this week's one? Because I actually do have one. But I'll let you pick one. I can save mine. My one's shit.
Little habits. I mean, the easiest thing like that is like diet-based stuff, isn't it? I mean, that's like a classic thing, you know, cut out fucking sugar for a week. I mean, that's quite a good one. I've always wanted to try that just to see like what, and that's hard because what I don't think you realise, or what a lot of people realise, is how much sugar is in like a lot of shit.
Yeah, I'm going to fuck it up today because I'm about to go on a long run and I've got Haribo's.
That's not fun.
I'm going to have to pass on that one.
That could be next week's one then.
Yeah. Oh,
shit,
mate,
man.
that one, we're going to have to negotiate on that one because fucking shit, that's...
Or even, okay, we can start off with like limiting how much sugar we have rather than like completely cut it out.
I would be willing to accept, like, I eat quite a lot of cake and... Like, I could say no cake and or Haribo and or chocolate.
Okay.
I could do that.
Yeah.
I'll offer you an alternative one and then you pick one which you prefer.
Well, let's just, what's your one?
That's what I'm going to say.
Okay, I feel like we should start with that, seeing as you've started this new segment.
I'll offer mine and then we'll decide which one we'd rather do at the end, right? My one is at least 25 minutes of stretching every day.
Agreed.
For the next 7 days.
Easy.
And I'm probably going to stick to it just being legs because we're trying to run loads of miles at the minute and we're not ready for it.
Happy days.
Every day.
I've been trying to do that anyway, but we'll see if I can actually do it.
How do we document it? We just put it like on the board or something. We've got a whiteboard now.
Yeah, I'll put it as a tally. I mean, I'm away for a lot this week, but that's fine.
We'll just send me a screenshot of the time every day.
Yeah. I guess we can keep track of the actual like stopwatch of like 25 minutes done. Not that many.
I mean, we don't need to like record it or anything. I trust you. If you say you've done 25 minutes, you've done 25 minutes. But every day, no matter what time, even if it's like midnight and we're fucked, we still got to do it 25 minutes.
I feel like we should also maybe post it on our stories and then we can repost it via said Instagram.
Yeah, maybe.
Instagram.
Maybe. Mate, there you go. Right, well, I got fuck all else to say, so that'll be a pod, I suppose.
Bang, bang.
Beautiful job.
There we are.
Thank you for joining this episode of the Two Beasts. But I'll tell you what, in the theme of, because you started off, why don't you say goodbye this time?
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the Two Beasts podcast. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share this podcast on whatever your preferred platform is. We'll see you next time. All the best.